Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets and Happy New Year. I have a couple of cards that I wanted to show you. I have a wedding tomorrow. My cousin's getting married and I made a card for him and his soon-to-be bride, and I decorated the envelope to go along with it, so I wanted to show you guys that. I also have a cousin who is buying a house on the 4th, so I'm so excited for her and her boyfriend. They're buying their first house, so I started making her a card, so I wanted to show you the beginning process of that, and I'll show you the stamps and stuff that I used. I also wanted to show you I did a art journal page. I've actually done two of them. The first one, I was not happy with the way it came out. I was in my other house. I had limited supplies. I kind of just was playing around with it. I had a vision in my mind. It did not come out the way that it was in my brain. So I think that's probably why I'm disappointed with it. But I learned a lot from playing around with it and doing things. And then the second journal page I did a couple of nights ago, and now that my craft room is starting to come together and I have a lot of supplies out and a lot more things that I can find to use, I love the way it turned out, and it's completely a happy accident because it was not what I was going for, so I'll explain that when I show you that. And I also did a scrapbook page for my niece, who was born October of 2013, and I feel like sometime by the time her third birthday is done, I will be able to completely have her first year of life scrapbook done. I'm so far behind on that kind of stuff with moving and everything and changing jobs and stuff like that. This year is going to be a very big challenge for me. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I'll explain that as the months go by and I find out more about what's going on. But job-wise, it looks like things are really going to change, and it's quite a scary time for me right now. So I've really been throwing myself into crafting as kind of a way to escape from a lot of the reality of what's going on in my life. So let me start by showing you guys what I did. So this is the wedding card that I made for my cousin and his fiance, soon-to-be wife. So this is just paper this is from Joann's. The gray paper behind it is Recollections cardstock, and then I created the frame piece in the middle by using the in and out stitched rectangle dies from My Favorite Things. The image here and the rings are from Gina K Designs. They're red rubber stamps. So I used my Misty stamping tool for the couple because I've used this stamp before and I know that it doesn't stamp very well. I don't know what... I bought a couple of Gina K Design stamps and I don't like them as much as I like My Favorite Things or Simon Says Stamps, other stamp companies. I don't know, they just don't stamp as well for me, and that's why the Misty tool has really come in handy. So I did that, and then I used Hero Arts Shadow Ink and Soft Granite. I wanted to stay in the black and gray tones, but then I wanted to add a little bit of red to this, and these are Lawn Fawn Hearts. They're from a set, I think it was a journaling set. It had like a journaling card, and then it had 4 different symbols in it. There were arrows and hearts and stars and I think like a banner shape kind of thing. I'm not positive, but I used the hearts, and then I went over the hearts with some red glitter glue. The dots are done from silver glitter glue, and I don't know if you can see it in here, but I put some glossy accents on the diamonds. And what I should have done, which is what I did on the envelope, I should have put the Wink Costello on first and then done the glossy accents, but I put the Wink Costello over top of it. I don't know if you can really see it. So the inside, then I wanted to mimic the outside. So this is just a wood-mounted stamp. It's up on my wall. I don't know who it's by. I believe I got it at AC Moore. I did not use the Misty for this because it is a wood-mounted stamp and I couldn't pull it off, and I can't find my heat gun to heat the back of it to take the stamp off. So then I just did the same thing. I colored the hearts in with red and then did the silver dots. And so that's the actual card, and then let me show you the envelope. Since we're going to the wedding and it's not going to be mailed, I thought this came out so good. I wanted to make it match the card, so I did the rings again, the same thing, except I put the Wink Costello on before the glossy accents, and then I did the same thing with the red hearts. The letters that I used, and I am so glad that I picked these up. I'm loving these for art journaling, for doing this kind of stuff. I think it's so cool. I did use my Misty when I did this because I wanted everything to line up pretty nicely, and I knew that with the soft granite I probably would want to stamp it a second time. Although when you stamp it a second time you lose a lot of the detail at the bottom. You can see how that's like a lot darker than the top of it, although that's how the stamp kind of is. These are Dilutions from Ranger Stamps, and I don't know the stamp set names. I bought 3 of them, and they come with the stamps and then a stencil. So I don't know which stencil went with what, but I'm saying these 2 went together. They probably didn't, but they'll come a stamp and a stencil. I bought these, which you'll see the video of this, or you'll see this in this video, and then the stars. And then I bought this other one. This will show you the packaging. I don't think I showed this in a stamp video, and this one's called Quote Medley. So it's got the quotes on it, and then the stencil is in the back. So really good value. I think these were 50% off at Michael's or something, and I picked these up. I am absolutely in love with these alphabet letters, and I'll show you why. I think that made my art journaling page fantastic. I think it made it. So there's the card there, or the envelope there. So I just thought I wanted to do something different, a little bit dressy. The ampersand came from a My Favorite Things stamp set because there was not one in here. So I kind of just went with a smaller one that didn't detract from the letters or anything. So that is the card that I made for them. I will show you the card quickly that I am in the process of making for my cousin and her boyfriend. So here it is here. So all I did was I actually took one of, and this is a My Favorite Things die. I think I actually got, I don't have the packaging for this because this is one of the, if you spent $60, you got the stamp set free, I think, or the die set free. They do that every month, and then they make the dies available afterwards. So it's a set of 3 of these. These might be the Hills ones or something like that. I'm pretty sure these were ones that I got for free, which were fantastic. Season for snow, for grass, whatever. So I took a really long piece of white cardstock and I ran this through my Cuttlebug. Well, the piece was longer so that both sides were connected, and when I was looking at it I thought I could actually keep them connected and then put the house in the middle so it looks like the grass is in the front and the sky is in the back. So that's actually what I did. I cut it down to fit the size of the card, and then I used some tumbled glass distress ink for the top of it, and I just went over some spots darker than others so that it kind of gave it a more realistic effect. And then for the grass, I actually used 2 colors of distress ink, Shabby Shutters and Mowed Lawn. So I went over it with Shabby Shutters first, and then came back in with Mowed Lawn and got a 2-toned effect. Like you can see right here, it's that yellowish, that's the Shabby Shutters, and then over here it's more of the Mowed Lawn. So I went in just to kind of give it a more realistic feeling. This house is from a Kelly Perky Simon Says Stamp exclusive set called Home Sweet Home, and I used this house down here and I stamped it in My Favorite Things Black Hybrid ink because this is really good for when you do watercoloring with distress inks. That's the ink that I use for that. Now I stamped it onto watercolor paper. I used my Misty for this because watercolor paper has a little bit of a rough texture, so it doesn't always stamp evenly the first time. So I think I actually stamped this 4 or 5 times so you can see how dark the roof is. I watercolored it with distress inks, and let me show you the colors that I used. I used a little bit of Mermaid Lagoon on the door, and I didn't like the way that that looked. So then I went back in with throwing things. It's upside down. Chip Sapphire Distress ink. So the door was a pretty blue. That's actually kind of the color of my house. My house has like a navyish blue door and then gray. I don't know what color her house is going to be, so I just thought that I would use those colors. I used old paper, very watered down, for the windows. So you can see it almost has like a little bit of a light on kind of feeling. So that is, it gives you like a greenish brownish yellow. So what I did was when I painted it on, I actually took my baby wipe, and this is a really old well used one, and it's very dry, and I just kind of dabbed the paint off of it so that it just gave it a very faint color. I used pumice stone for, what did I use that for? Did use that for the roof? Hold on. Yes, I think I used that for the roof, the pumice stone, sorry. And weathered wood is the color of the house. And I just actually went around with a white gel pen around all of the windows, and once I did that, it kind of took away some of the black lines, so I took a black Jelly Roll pen, because I used a white one first, then I went back in with the black Jelly Roll pen and darkened some of those lines. So that's the card right now. I believe that I am choosing the Sentiment Home Sweet Home from that stamp set. I'm going to stamp that on the front somewhere. I'll probably do some clouds and then do the inside. I haven't figured that out yet, but this is the card so far. Excuse me. If I remember, I will show you the finished version of this, but I thought that it came out really, really well. So this is the art journal book that I bought. I actually bought 2 of them, and I started to use this one, and I'll show you the first page that I did. So I gessoed the page. I don't think I did a video on this. I gessoed the page. I did some distress ink on it. I went over it with it's My Favorite Things background stamp. I think it's the burlap one that I had for my sister-in-law's baby shower, and I used different colors of red ink. I went back and forth on that. I did the belt with some gray, I think it's gray cat's eye or silver cat's eye. I don't know, I just didn't love the way that it was coming out. Then I found, when I was cleaning things up down here, the Ho 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 Simon Says Stamp stencil, and I had some embossing paste. So I was like, let me try this out. I just want to see how it works. I love the way that it turned out, and because it's on black here, it becomes really, really dark, and it almost kind of just fades out because it picks up a little bit of the red in the background. But it's really cool. It has a really nice texture to it, so I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I don't particularly love it. This page I am in love with. I was so happy with the way that it turned out. It was one of those things that I was down here, and I can tell you what I was doing now. I thought that I was gessoing the page. So back over here, if you look, I have all of these bottles back here, and I wasn't paying attention, and this is my gesso, and this is my matte gel. I just saw the G on this, I picked it up, and I started putting it down onto my page. Well, it was all sticky like glue, and I'm like, wait, this isn't how gesso is supposed to look, and it wasn't dark, and I was like, oh, maybe I got a runnier one, because I know there's thicker and thinner gessos. Well, I realized that when I put my hand down on the page, it was matte medium, which is basically glue. So I said, okay, well, I need to hurry up and find something to stick down as a background. So I was going through my pattern papers, and I'm like, what do I want to do? So I had this doll that I used to carry around all the time when I was little, and I called her Dolly Lolly, and she was pink and white gingham. So I have this pink and white paper, and I just hurried up and put it down on the page, and this is what it looked like. So this was pink and white gingham. So I glued it down, and then I just kind of cut off the edge there. I know it's really, really rough, but once I do this page, eventually, it'll get much better. So I know that the lighting is absolutely horrible down here. I'm trying to find like a good, reds and pinks don't look good down here. This is terrible lighting. I have to get better lighting. So I'm trying to see. I wish that it came out better. I wish you were able to see it a little bit better. But okay, so that's that. And then I went back and I took, let me see if I took it on this side. I went back in with Distress ink, and I kind of colored over the edges. I used Picked Raspberry and Worn Lipstick, and I just kind of colored over most of it. Some of it here is like a little white. I left it a little bit lighter in the center. And then I took these stamps from Diane Reevely, and I used the My Favorite Things Black Licorice Hybrid ink, and just stamped these all over the background. So I thought that it was really, really cool. And when I stamped this one, it reminded me of the tail of the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland. So I was like, oh, there's that sentiment about we're all mad here. So I looked it up, and I said, we are all a little mad here. So I wanted to use these alphabet stamps. I thought they looked fantastic. I love, love, love the way they came out. I know. Again, I'm so sorry about this terrible lighting in here. Let me see if I can. So it's done in black, and then I took a white Jelly Roll pen and went over the letters just a little bit on the left-hand side of the letter, and then I added quote marks because there's no quotations in there. The coloring is done with some, they're not Jelly Roll pens. I don't think they're Jelly Roll pens. Some of them are, actually some of it's Jelly Roll pens. The other ones are, oh yeah, just Jelly Roll. Some of them are sparkly and some of them are not sparkly. So I just had a bunch of different colors and I colored them in. And then there's a sentiment on there that says this way, that way. And one of the arrows says round the bend, and the other one, I think it says direction. And it's written in kind of like a funky script. So I just thought that that was really cool because it was always, Alice was always going this way, that way, you know, that kind of thing. And I just thought that arrows made it really cool. And then I came back in with some wild honey and this stencil, and then just kind of put some, if you can see, like stars on the back. So that's it. If you look on my Instagram, you can see a better picture of the of what it actually looks like. And then this is the next pages I've gessoed. I've actually used the correct thing and used gesso. So the pages actually turn white. If you saw the other ones, they're kind of like a manila color. But I do this so that it takes the paint better, and then I kind of prep it for my next journal page. So that's the next one I'm going to do. Obviously, I did not do that last journal page, excuse me, in gesso because I thought I was doing gesso. However, that's not what it was. So that's that. And then let me show you the scrapbook page that I did for my niece. So this is, again, it's red, you can't really see it, so there's her birth pictures. And then I used, to create the journal at the top of it, which just has all her birth information on it, this is a Hero Arts stamp set called My Notebook. So I used a silver Jelly Roll pen to do like the little metal pieces in the middle. Then I just wrote the date of her birth, her name, it says welcome to the world, and then her name, and it has all her statistics on it, where she was born and everything like that. So that's the first page that I did for my niece, and I will be working on more scrapbook pages. I have stuff to do for the twins. I have stuff to do for my youngest niece. I have so much scrapbooking stuff to do that it is unbelievable. So I will be getting around to doing that. Thank you guys so much for sticking to this long video. I know there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to show you, but I'm really excited about art journaling. I'm really feeling like I'm very creative now that I have my own space. I will do a craft tour. I know I keep saying that. I have a couple more things that I want to get into the room before I do this tour, because I can't wait for that wall to be all done. There's the back wall. I'm doing some really cool stuff too, and I can't wait for that to all be done. Hopefully that should be done the middle of this month. So hopefully by the end of January I will have a video on that, or maybe I'll have like a sneak peek in progress kind of thing going on. Other than that, I hope you guys had a great New Year's. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to subscribe. Leave comments below. And I will be participating in this month's hashtag event. If you guys haven't seen anything about it, you can go back a couple videos, and I have, actually, in my videos, I have a lot of information about the hashtag event. It's basically, we give you a hashtag at the beginning of the start date. It's a 4-day window where all different artists can publish videos, and you can learn all different kinds of art and see amazingly talented people, and just get a chance to see what they do. So I will be participating in this one. This one's actually really cool. The theme is different than it's been in almost different than it's kind of been in the past. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can create for that. Hopefully at least one art journal page, and then there will be some cards and some other things. So stay tuned. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye!